Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Social justice warriors, forget all of the death threats you have spewed out towards Donald Trump, deeming him a bigot simply because you can't swallow the truth. Reality is on the verge of entering the comfort zone you so adamantly defend. The tsunami of immigration strategized by Bilderberg elites to divide and conquer the US and Europe is only growing stronger and more dangerous as the days roll by. And now, as London's newly elected pro-caliphate mayor strengthens the foothold of sharia law, it appears jolly old England may be the first country to completely fall if nothing is done. Breitbart UK reports. Up to 500,000 migrants and their families who have fled from the Middle East, North Africa, and elsewhere could head to the UK after 2020 under European Union free movement rules. Between 240,000 and 480,000 may travel to UK, and while countries such as Greece, Italy, and Germany have been hardest hit by the migrant crisis so far, a secondary wave will likely move on to Britain once they have the right. Meanwhile, as Obama is challenged by 26 states on the constitutionality of the 2014 DAPA program, the dam has completely burst as a surge of unchecked illegal immigrants entering the United States swells into record numbers. WCQS reports immigrants fleeing gang violence in Central America are again surging across the U.S.-Mexico border, approaching the numbers that created an immigration crisis in the summer of 2014. While the flow of immigrants slowed for much of last year, nothing the U.S. government does seems to deter the current wave of travelers. Yet the numbers are daunting. From last October to March, the U.S. Border Patrol averaged 330 apprehensions of Central Americans a day, according to an analysis by the Pew Research Center, an increase of 100% over the same time period a year earlier. And it's not just the surging numbers of criminals given the revolving door into the United States, freely killing and yes, raping U.S. citizens, or the quiet strengthening of Sharia communities in the United States that is fully underway.
We have had Somalians here once they got on that special alien list. They won't tell us that anymore, but there have been Somalians, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Chinese, you name it, we've had it here.
But as one of them was climbing over the fence, he dropped a package. And that package was an Urdu dictionary. Urdu is a language spoken in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And in that translation book, Urdu and English, there were a lot of phrases circled and outlined. Do you speak Spanish? Do you speak English? So it's easier for them to slip through this private property.
Disease lives inside this Trojan horse.
The rates of tuberculosis infections are rising for the first time in nearly 20 years, and the evidence points to people coming from overseas to the United States. Our own investigation has found that everyone, U.S.-born or foreign-born, who lives in a refugee resettlement area is at risk for contracting tuberculosis.
An outbreak of measles, a highly contagious measles that began with an inmate at the Eloy Detention Center, has now grown to 11 confirmed cases.
And now state, county health officials are working to try to stop it from spreading further.
Breitbart reports a flesh-eating tropical disease is ravaging the war-torn Middle East after Islamic State destruction created the ideal breeding conditions. The parasitic disease called cutaneous leishmaniasis, also known as the Aleppo evil, is caused by bites from tiny infected sandflies which thrive in the squalid conditions left in the wake of the Islamic State terror and conflict. The number of cases has shot up from just 6 in 2012 to thousands just a year later. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported that the disease has recently begun to flourish in Syria's neighboring countries. The time has come to shut down George Soros' social justice warriors wreaking havoc on the narrative. Freedom of speech is needed now more than ever. Ignorance can't be the darkened midnight path we lead our families and fellow Americans down. This trail winds its way towards certain doom, emboldened by our own inaction. John Bound for Infowars.com.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.